Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. It's Barnes, Mike. The power duo is back.
We're back.
What's going on, Michael?
What's up, dude? How are you?
Dude, pretty good. And I feel like this is an unintentional ratings war that we've found ourselves in.
This is it. It has begun, and we'll see what happens. I think you know who's going to win.
Yeah. And we know
it's always electric, as you would say.
Exactly. We know a certain someone gets a little tight. Competition. Tony. But I would like to say, too, this episode of the Sport Report brought to you by American Mule. So grab a cold one, as they would say. But let's get right to it. The world of the National Basketball Association.
LeBron James at the buzzer. He banks in the three, and the Lakers win the game.
All right. So we finally had it. Opening night last night. We had two games on the TNT doubleheader. The first game, we had a rematch of the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs, Bucks and Nets. And this one really was not close the whole way, which was, to my surprise, Bucks 127, Nets 104. And really the Bucks, like I said, took control of this from the opening tip. Giannis continued his run from last season. Giannis had 32, 14 and 7. You had 20 and 9 from Middleton. Connaughton chipped in with 20 off the bench, and they were bombs away from three-point range, 17 of 45, 37.8%. And they did this despite Durant, having his typical 32 and 11. Harden kind of had an off night, not a high shooting percentage, 20 points. But how about Patty Mills, like he was in the Olympics, 7 of 7 from three-point range.
It's a good sign
21
for them.
points. They shoot 53% from three-point range, but lose the game by sense of this from me, Michael.
Nets and Lakers both in similar boats here. And I mean, it's early, and they both basically said the same thing where they have a lot of new players. So it's about getting these new players, comfortable with new positions, new roles, right? And the stars on those teams. And then also it's just about not getting it's just one game. Right? It's the first game of the season. We can't freak out.
Overreact. But we've seen this with them, since they've brought, this cast of characters together with the defense. And everyone always says, oh, they're not going to be a defensive team. They're not going to be a defensive team. But do you feel that's based on the roster construction or effort?
No, I think it's just opening night. I think it's a little bit of feeling out the game and feeling out the team and who we have right now on this team. We have no Kyrie. We expected to have Kyrie if you're the Nets.
Right.
This is basically the same team for the Bucks. It's usual business, for them. And honestly, I was surprised, but I wasn't. But what I was surprised, did you see the bling bling?
Continue.
The ring, the championship ring.
You know what? They were talking about it, and I had some
You didn't see
NHL
it?
on. I didn't get the close up.
It's not just a ring.
Oh my god, that's
It's
what everyone was saying.
it's big, but the cool thing about it, Barnes, is you could take the top of the ring off and wear it as a necklace, like a cross type size of a necklace.
Yep.
Dope. I think that's dope.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to keep making the rings bigger and bigger and bigger each year.
Right. And hey, I mean, the Bucks deserved it. I mean, they had quite the run, and everyone talks about shoe sizes and this and that. But at the end of the day, when you're able to win an NBA championship, especially when going into the season, no one expected it. You have to, tip your caps to the Bucks because they've really been on quite the run since the start of last season. And just one other question on this game, Michael. We saw the Nets last year. I mean, one of the worst defensive teams in the league last year. Now, do you feel like this year they're able to step it up at all just to get to middle of the pack? Or do you think it's always going to be they're winning games 130 to 120?
The Nets?
Yeah.
I think they could do it, but it'll take a tremendous amount of effort from all those guys.
Because I'm just thinking about it. I mean, who is known as a very good quality defender on the team when you think about it?
KD. People would say,
right,
and that's probably who's their center right now?
Blake. I think they're going small with Blake. No.
Wow.
So I'm almost surprised in a way.
They might make something's. What if they get Boogie?
Yeah, no, that would be a good one. And then also, I mean, they would have been perfect to have JaVale McGee. Imagine him playing center for them.
I know. I don't know why they didn't go for him. NBA pedigree.
So actually, okay, they do list Nicholas Claxton as a starting center.
Yeah, but he's like.
Do you think he's a scrub?
I don't think he's a scrub, but I it's funny you asked me this. I just want to clarify. I don't think anyone in the NBA is a scrub.
Right.
But within the league of players, within the league that they're in, I just don't think you want to rely on Claxton.
Exactly.
I don't think you can.
Would you rather start Aldridge?
No.
I almost would just say take Claxton out, start Patty Mills, and have Blake play center, Durant at power forward, Joe Harris at small forward.
Yeah, or just go get a big.
True, because I'm sure there's someone they could pick up out there. Bruce Brown didn't really play much last night. I was kind of surprised at that. I thought he played a big role for them down the stretch, especially, with Harden and Kyrie injured in the playoffs. I mean, I would expect him to find his way, into the rotation, as well as, did you see Cam Thomas get in a little bit last night, the rookie from LSU?
Cam Thomas,
yes.
The rookie from LSU.
Yep.
No,
and
I did not.
First round pick, somebody to keep an eye out for.
Dude.
And, I have to say, I give the Nets credit because we see this all the time with these quote unquote super teams. I mean, they don't even draft in the first round or draft at all. And I just have always felt like you keep those picks. I mean, I guess, of course, if you're going to get somebody like James Harden, you have to trade him away. But there's nothing like having a solid team of veterans, some superstars, but then a couple younger guys to develop. I mean, I think that, is the perfect blend and the perfect way to build a team.
No, yeah, I agree.
Bruce Brown, 4 minutes last night. I mean, it makes some sense of that for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. They put so much. I don't know. I mean, that was one of their free agent signings and played well at the end of the year. I don't know. I just think I don't buy the beginning of the season for these big time teams like that. Like these guys, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. And honestly, I think there may be more turmoil in the Nets locker room than we know, maybe. But dude, did you guys talk about Ben Simmons getting thrown out of practice by Doc Rivers?
No, we actually didn't. And
can we talk about that?
Bring it up. And before we talk about that, I was actually going to mention this. This is my sister, Stacy Ross. Patrick would like to know your outlook on the Celtics. So we're actually going to preview that game in a little bit, Stacy. But I would say, looking at the Celtics this year, I mean, I think obviously, they did lose Kemba. They do bring in Cantor, Schroeder. So I think it's just going to be the same thing in terms of you're going to have to rely on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and for them to keep developing, keep growing. And I think it's just going to be a matter of potentially adding somebody, during the season at the deadline. Because I do think they have a good team. And I don't know if you agree with me on this, Michael. They have a good team, but they need more. It's not all there. And bias aside from the, obviously.
Yeah, of course. I'm not like that at all.
Solid team, but
I was rooting for the Celtics, for example, back in the day.
Right.
Honestly.
And right now, I just see them as 5, 6, 7 seed, not 4, 5, 6 seed. I don't know what you think.
I don't even think I see them there anymore.
Really,
honestly. Unless Tatum has some breakthrough game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Brown has a breakthrough season as well.
Right.
I just don't know. Like, their bench is weak. Their bench was weak last year. I don't care about Cantor. No offense. Shout out Cantor. Keita Milford. I always love that.
Right.
But I don't know, dude. I'm telling you, Chicago's coming in hot.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of teams that we're overlooking, and I don't know. The Celtics,
it's going to be tough.
Maybe because they don't have pressure on them.
Right.
They
play better because they've had a lot of pressure,
right?
And they met those expectations the last couple of years.
Exactly.
So, definitely a team to keep an eye out for as Brad Stevens, moved to the front office this offseason. And I would like to say too, I didn't explain this to you, Michael. When my sister says Patrick, she's talking about my godson. Great guy. You definitely have to meet him, and I'm looking forward to him in a couple of years starting his basketball career. Because
dude,
I mean, right? Don't you think I could teach him well?
I'll even help you out.
Oh, yes. You take care of the shooting. I'll take care of the post moves.
I'll take care of the whole point guard mentality.
And I think we'll take him to Knicks Celtics at the Garden. Why not?
Oh, of course.
Both Gardens, of course.
Gardens. Let him see what it's like to be in an opposing crowd's gym. Of course, you have to.
Yes, absolutely. So looking forward to that for sure. And one other game that we had last night, like I said, doubleheader, Warriors 121, Lakers 114. And I have to say, this one surprised me.
Before you go ahead, I'll say, though, I liked this powerhouse team's loss better than the other powerhouse team's loss in terms of Lakers Nets.
Because they played 3 solid quarters.
Right.
And you look at this.
See the standing O for Melo?
Yes. And I saw some 3-pointers go in. I love his role.
Me too. 6th man of the year, baby.
Because I said this yesterday. LeBron is going to know when to feed him and when he's going to make shots. You know that. Even though they've never played together. Doesn't matter.
His shot looks so crispy. He's got a lot of bounce to him, and so does LeBron.
His favorite thing to do, though, is take one dribble inside the 3-point range, back out from center of the court, and then pop, and he's like 70%.
Or the jab step.
Yes, the jab step. So I like, what I saw there. And Davis 33 and 11, LeBron 34 points, 11 rebounds, 5 of 11 3-point range, played well. But
just really figuring it out for the whole team, new pieces, dude.
Right. But you didn't get much from anyone else. Wes Brick was back, but I know he does start slow, so I'm not necessarily worried about him. But at the same time, and you know how I am with certain things with sports, especially the Yankees, patience wise, and I just feel like every time before Westbrook's about to shoot, I feel like it's a waste of time. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, just drive to the basket. I don't want to see him taking mid-range.
I don't know. I've seen him get hot, so I can see why he does take it. And I've seen him go stretches where he does shoot well. I just think, I don't know. I don't know. I never really liked his game.
It's tough to have a guy who's making over $30 million in, let's say, final minute of a game. He's pulling up for a jumper and you're cringing. I think that's a problem.
I mean, yeah. Who would you rather have, though? Westbrook or Kyrie? If he could play right now.
So where I am there is
strictly basketball.
Just strictly, but see, that's the thing. But also chemistry is a part of basketball. So I would just be concerned there. But if we're talking about strictly on-court ability, I mean, obviously he's light years ahead of him. But I would just be concerned that he would blow up the locker room. And I really think this, some of the comments he's had about LeBron, I think that they could never play together again.
I couldn't believe the disrespect by that man to LeBron.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never liked Kyrie. If you knew how the whole journey was, like, Kyrie I didn't like, especially when LeBron went back. I was like, I don't know. He's not that great. They had like 2 other first round picks after him being a first round pick. How good could he have been? And I don't know. He did have a couple 40. He had a great finals, but still, I mean, if it weren't for LeBron James having
Oh
a
my
40-point
God.
triple-double, I mean,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? Nothing.
And I just crack up at the notion, and he made that comment. Sometimes I wish I never made that shot because of how it impacted LeBron's legacy. And it's just like, how about
He said that?
He did say that. And how about this though? Every other season other than that season has been a disappointment for Kyrie. And I'll take it a step further, especially when LeBron hasn't been on his team. Obviously, when they were together, they went to the finals every year. So it's like, what have you accomplished outside of that? And I think that's the thing. Kyrie thinks he's better than he actually He is. Of course, he's talented, but the accomplishments come up very short for someone with that ability.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So interesting to see how that plays out. But like I said, I was disappointed in Westbrook, like what I saw to Melo. And I'm just looking forward to seeing Jordan and Howard and Rondo, carve out their roles with the Lakers. Nunn, as well. And, when THT comes back, Monk, I think when he gets comfortable. So I feel good. I mean, obviously it just stinks because, you were leading going into the fourth quarter. You lost all your preseason games. So you wanted to start with a win. And especially you caught a game where Curry wasn't exactly on. I know he had a 20-point triple-double, but he was only 5 of 21 shooting. So it's not like he was red hot. So that was just a little disappointing. And then free throw percentage, and they mentioned this, on the broadcast last night. I mean, the Lakers only 19 attempts, but 47.4 on the free throws. And I understand Dwight Howard, obviously a part of that, but the low percentage that Russell Westbrook shoots at the free throw line, I mean, I just don't understand it. I mean, I think any guard should be able to walk to the line and shoot 70% with his eyes closed.
Yeah, and you have LeBron, who historically has not been great at free throws, Rondo and Westbrook and Howard.
Yes, and Jordan.
Oh my!
Jordan's been one of the worst of all time.
You probably have the worst shooting free throw team in league history.
Yeah. So that obviously
is not a good thing.
Is a concern. And we could have this debate for hours, but just simple answer here: when it comes to free throw shooting, do you characterize it as ability or just strictly mental?
Mental. It's all mental.
But the thing that I don't get, though, so with LeBron, and, it's his free throw percentage has come down as his career has went on. What is it, though? Because we've seen him succeed at the highest levels in the NBA, but why is it the free throw line that he just can't figure it out, especially over the past 5-6 years plus?
It's the yips.
It's crazy, though. I mean, I honestly feel like some of these guys like me and you, free throw shooting competition could beat them.
Yeah. Honestly.
So I don't know. I just hope they figure that out. But at the end of the day, still feel the same way. I'm sure both still feel Lakers will return to the finals and will be hosting the Larry O'Brien Trophy. So we will recap, them the next time they get out on the court and hoping for a victory next time around. And we do have a full slate of games, Michael.
This is the opening night. I don't understand why they do that.
You might as well just have them all at once. Why not? Like, what an opening night that would be. Every single team in the league plays.
Come on.
Does that happen in the regular season ever or no?
Yeah, so they have like 12 games a couple of nights of the year.
Okay. But so really then no, because it would be 15 games would be every single. I don't think they.
True, I guess they've never done it, but it's close enough.
But like, why not just do it though?
I know.
So I would like to see that. Obviously, when you say this is a real opening night, you're referring to the Knicks getting back in action. After the successful season last year, returning to the playoffs. Thibodeau, Barrett, Randall. We know all about it. We know they brought in Fournier, former Celtic Kemba Walker, and they are hosting the Celtics 7:30 on ESPN at the Garden. What do you got?
I have a blowout, a spanking. This Knicks team is coming for the top 3 spot this season. Mark my words. They'll be fighting for it with the Bulls and the Heat.
Well, I mean, do we have a score? Do we have a leading score? I mean, what do we
Julius Randle, 35, 12, and 8. RJ, 25, 7, and 7. Kemba, 21, 10, and 2 steals. Knox plays, goes 4 for 5 from 3. Mitch, defensive monster, 4 blocks, 5 blocks. Actually, I just saw it in my head. I saw the 5th one, Barnes. I saw the 5th block. And I'd say probably 15 rebounds for him.
15 rebounds.
He's coming.
Wow.
This season. And Obi, and quickly, just the whole cat. Dude, how excited are you?
Oh yeah. I honestly, I love seeing a team develop a lot of homegrown guys, because you don't really get to see that too much this day and age in any sport, because no one has patience. Everyone trades away draft picks, gives up on guys after one season. So it's nice to see
crazy
the Knicks stick with these guys, and especially Kevin Knox. I know
that's what I was going to say.
Complained about how they haven't played him, but at the same time, they haven't traded him either.
So maybe this is the year.
Yes. I would think this is the year. And looking at this game, I have to say, I don't agree with the blowout. I do agree with the Knicks win, but I honestly think this is actually going to come down to the buzzer. And I'm going to say 110-109, Kemba at the buzzer for the win from 3-point range. Step back. I'm going to give him 25 and 10 in his Knick debut, 20 apiece.
I'm watching the whole game.
Randall and Barrett.
I'll be live tweeting at Main Magic Mike on Twitter.
Excited to watch it for sure. And I'm excited to see, what Fournier brings to the team, the former Boston Celtic, and just how this group meshes together, because the Knicks, especially the Knicks fans like yourself, really deserve what is coming for them this season. And I think an advancement, and I think year by year, it's going to keep getting better until they finally return to the pinnacle of the NBA. And I think they are definitely on their way. So looking forward to that one, 7:30 on ESPN. And the second game of the ESPN Wednesday doubleheader, we have the Denver Nuggets traveling to play the Phoenix Suns. Bowl. You have Chris Paul. You have Devin Booker.
Michael Porter Jr.
You have Michael Porter Jr.
Jokic.
You have Jokic, the league MVP.
Is Murray back? No.
Murray is not back. But I think a lot of firepower in this one, a lot of scoring. And you look at this one, Suns are favored by 6 here. How do you see this one? Do you see it being a closer game to that, or do you think the Suns at home, Murray not back, coming off the finals appearance? I mean, what do you see here?
I see a Denver Nuggets blowout. There is trouble in paradise, Barnes. DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns have not.
What is that, though? What is that?
I don't know.
Centers aren't important? Is that what it is?
I think he is important.
Right, but I'm saying I think he's important, but I'm saying their mindset is it like we're concerned about wing players, Devin Booker?
I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah. I just don't get it. I'd sign him to a 5-year right now.
I don't know either, but I do think it's just like, I think they're thinking we can get a guy, we're going to have to give Ayton over $100 million. We can get a guy 2-3 years for, I don't know, $30 million. That's going to give us 10 and 10 and have some blocks, and that's fine. And we don't need Ayton. I honestly think
they need
Ayton.
Just
taking a guess. I agree. They need Ayton. You want to build with a team, guys that you drafted. It makes too much sense to keep them. But at this point, I mean, would it really be a surprise if next year he's the starting center for the New York Knicks?
You took the words out of my mouth. Wouldn't you love that? And then Zion comes after the debacle.
Oh my
dude,
God.
Losing Lonzo. Watch how fun it is in Chicago. And then he's going to see how fun it is in New York at the Garden with RJ and the high-flying Knicks as well, because they will be flying high. Mitch, Obi, and Hughes. Not Hughes. Hayes. Jackson Hayes has bounced. No, not Hayes. I'm talking about for the Knicks. The rookie.
I don't know why.
The big man from Texas, I think.
I'm blanking on this. I have to say, the NBA draft, I watched it and everything, but I feel like I just don't remember the picks. Knicks roster. Is it Jericho Sims? But they do ESPN.com. I haven't seen this before. They have a depth chart.
I think it is Jericho Sims, yes.
It just sounds like he was played for Texas.
Yeah.
So let's see. Right now, they have him 5th on the depth chart. Mitch starting at center, Nerlens behind him, Taj behind him, and then Randall behind him, being like that he could play center as well. But I'm really excited to see this team for sure.
Oh,
But back to the Nuggets, the Suns. What are you forecasting here tonight?
I'm forecasting Bol playing, and not only that, probably getting. I want to see him start tonight.
But chances of that happening are. Can you put a number on it? Oh man, these front offices, they think they're smarter than us. I just don't understand it. Right now, Michael, to your dismay, listed as the 5th string power forward and center.
Dude, come to the Knicks, Bull. Request a trade. Give him Sims. Give him all the bums we just got. That the new rookies. Just give them.
Big pickup. I just noticed this looking at the depth chart, and I can understand why potentially experience you'd list him ahead of him. I don't think in ability, but Nuggets did bring in Jeff Green, who had a nice run with the Brooklyn Nets last season. So I think that'll play dividends for sure. But as far as the final score here, what do you got?
120 to 105.
Nuggets.
Correct.
Wow. I am going to say, looking at this, the Suns at home, I think they do have enough to get it done. I do think high scoring game though. So I'm going to say Suns 120, Nuggets 118. And you're going to see 30 points, 10 assists, 5 steals from Chris Paul, in addition to 35 from Devin Booker, 10 3-pointers, courtesy of yours truly's fantasy basketball team.
Well, along with that, I mean, I could see that going, but I don't buy it, honestly. What we're gonna see is a dubski. But the other, let me go over here. Over here. The other game you guys should be looking out for is the Chicago Bulls, Detroit at Little Caesars Palace. You ever have Little Caesars, Pons?
You know me. I want quality. I want Sakura.
Correct.
So the last thing I'm having for dinner is a Little Caesars pizza.
Never have, never will either. I mean, unless it's like we got paid by Little Caesars.
Right.
But dude, I'm telling you, everybody out there, the Chicago Bulls are going to be one of the top teams to watch this season. Watch.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, you want to talk about just absolutely loaded. Like the guys in that team. I mean, without looking at the depth chart, you could easily miss 4 or 5 guys that they have. You're thinking about the offseason. You're thinking about trades that were made. And I mean, when you look at this depth chart, so they're starting 5. They're going to trot out Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Nikola Vucevic. Your thoughts on that starting 5?
Not one of the top starting 5s in the league. And also, you're going to see Cade Cunningham tonight.
You are going to see Cade Cunningham. So the Pistons.
Kelly Olynyk on the Pistons, bud. What do you think about Kelly Olynyk? Oh, and Luke Garza. Did you ever like him?
Respected him. Obviously, just even judging by the picture, little odd at times. But I think definitely end of the roster, worth having on the team. And then also watch out for Sadiq Bey, the former first-round pick. I think he can have an impact for sure. Killian Hayes,
Josh Jackson, right? Yep, Killian Hayes,
Corey Joseph. That's a guy that I feel like that's always
performed.
Josh Jackson,
like San Antonio Spurs tree.
So Pistons. I mean, do you think though still going to be yet another long season for the Detroit Pistons or not?
Yeah. I mean, Cade Cunningham's going to probably average, I'd say, like 18 points per game.
Yeah.
Shoot 35%, show flashes, have a couple great wins.
A couple triple doubles.
Yeah.
A couple buzzer beaters.
Yeah. And show that he's going to be a stud, but they need some more studly young talent like him,
Yeah. But it's a shame because I think at one point, they made 6, 7
straight Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah. Billups and
Rashid,
Ben Wallace,
Rip,
the
Mask.
You had Tayshaun Prince
at the Palace.
The Malice.
Just seen the documentary.
Still haven't seen it yet.
Dude, what are you doing?
Remember it like it was yesterday. But
Me too.
I definitely will take a look at that documentary, on a slow day. But we know, sports are hot right now. We have a lot going on. All 5 major sports going on. But that being said, we do, like you said, a lot of NBA action tonight. Starts with the Celtics at KNICKS, 7:30. So looking forward to watching that one. And for your sake and for New York's sake, I really do hope the Knicks start this season out on the right note. And we do have a comment from Fresh Show.
Your thoughts on Let's Go Brandon chants on the MLB Fox playoff show last night?
All I'm going to say is let's see, 3 words. Absolutely love it. And that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, perfect. What's that referring to? Let's Go Brandon.
You really don't know about that?
No. There could be viewers as well that don't know, Barnes.
Yeah. I would suggest just Googling it. I just don't want to, get into it at the moment. But,
Okay.
But Fresh Show definitely. Yeah, I think he knows all about it actually. So I don't know why I'm telling him to Google it. But anybody with a question, Google it, figure it out, and hey, if you want to comment on it, comment on it. That being said, Michael, I think this would be a good time to switch gears to the world of Major League Baseball.
Giving chase at Judge, and he dives into the stand.
Rock begins the season with an overpowering strikeout of Ronald Acuna.
The wall is gone! 3-run home run! What's going on here? I love it. He drives one to the moon. High, deep, and very gone.
All right. And Michael, I have to start with this. Obviously we had some exciting playoff games yesterday, but you were not here for a baseball segment yesterday. You had John for NBA on the phone. Your comments on Aaron Boone receiving the 3-year contract extension.
All I could say is, my heart broke for you, Brian.
I mean, all we went through this season.
Dude, you hired him, right? In 2017, right?
2017.
For how many years?
It was
4 years.
It was a 3-year deal with an option. So same contract, basically. I don't know what the financial figures were.
Okay. So you signed him in 2017 because apparently Joe Girardi, right, your former manager, couldn't get the job done in the finals of the ALCS, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then since then, Brian, where have they gone?
I would refer to it as a backpedal, whether it's player development, whether it's how far they're getting in the playoffs. And I know there's a lot of talk about it doesn't matter who's there. It doesn't matter. And I said this with Tony yesterday. Even if the front office is filling out the lineup card, making all the roster decisions, there's still some value to a manager, to a coach who is giving, useful pointers, advice, strategy. And I just feel like Aaron Boone does not offer any of that. So that's why it's tough to take. And it's just, but I guess.
Dude, he hit a home run.
Yeah, that's it. Did nothing else. Mediocre career. But I guess what it comes down to is this will not matter if the offseason, if the player movement is done the right way this offseason. So a lot of pressure on me and your guys, Brian Cashman, who somehow has the life of a cat on his 6th life over here as the general manager. And the interesting thing, though, he's got 1 year left on his deal. Boone just signed a 3-year contract with an option. No talk of a contract extension with Cashman. So do you think that's potentially a sign that they're saying we better see something good this coming season, this offseason? Otherwise, we are ready to move on. And
I could also see the Yankees just firing Boone. Who cares?
Exactly.
Like what happens if they're the worst team, like Orioles?
I think they would. Which is, I don't want to give Hal any credit because he's just too timid. But I think at the same time, he doesn't want to get embarrassed. That's why he feels like he's able to make these moves because they are competitive. They are the most consistent franchise in the major leagues. But they aren't taking the next step. So that's why, like I said, comes down to player movement. And honestly, your honest opinion, and if it hurts me, Michael. do you have confidence that Brian Cashman will retool the roster to give them the horses to return to the Fall Classic?
Absolutely, Brian. When your job's on the line, this is what you got to do.
So
And
you're-
your legacy.
So you're expecting big, you're expecting bold, and you're expecting a lot of turnover?
Yes, and I'm expecting the opposite from the Mets.
And one last thing, before we get to the playoff games, because you brought up the Mets, it reminded me of Tony, of course. Do you think he was just like trying to set me up for disappointment? I don't know if you remember the last episode, the three of us were on. He's telling me, they haven't said anything about Boone. I think maybe they're not going to bring him back. Do you remember him saying that?
Yeah, Michael King.
You think complete setup?
Oh, yeah.
I was so convinced. I swear to God, I was so convinced.
I know you were happy.
Yeah, and then the next day, I get the news. So obviously,
It's almost like he had an inside source and he knew.
Oh yeah. Tony's cheesing, probably watching this now,
Definitely.
chomping down on some lasagna.
Oh, yeah, he's in Staten Island.
Easily. But back to the diamond. So we had the NLCS Game 3 yesterday. Dodgers 6, Braves 5, and it was so funny. And I don't believe in jinxes, but it was just funny how this was set up. So the Braves were up 5-2, Michael. 7th inning. Actually, no, 8th inning. And Charles Barkley joins the broadcast and says, Dodgers about to get swept right now. And within 10 minutes, Cody Bellinger hits a 3-run homer to tie the game. Betts with a go-ahead double the next inning, and the Dodgers get back in this series, taking Game 3. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow. Thank you, Charles.
Yeah, because we want to see talent. We want to see better teams. And I know the Braves are a good story, but the Dodgers have so much talent, so much ability. We want to see them in the World Series because we need them to take down either the Boston Red Sox or the Houston Astros. And the Braves, I'm sorry, are not doing that.
Absolutely not.
So I hope that they continue this good run. And they did this despite a very mediocre pitching performance from Walker Buehler. 3 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, 3 Ks. They did get a homer from Corey Seager. I mentioned the Bellinger blast, and Betts, who's been, really a key cog of this team since he came over from Boston. Like I said, with that big go-ahead double. You look on the other side, Braves were playing a solid game. I mean, Morton, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 6 walks, though, 5 Ks. So you look at that. I mean, 6 walks. I mean, a guy that's a veteran that's been in the spot before, that surprised me. But Luke Jackson, Michael, 1/3 of an inning pitch, 4 hits, 4 runs. There is no place for anybody on a major league roster to do that.
No, it sounds like Tony at pitching.
Yeah, I'd agree. And hopefully for Tony's sake, his future first baseman, Freddie Freeman, did have 3 hits for the Braves last night. So like I said, I expect the Mets to pursue him in free agency if the Braves don't offer an extension right after their season ends. You did have Duvall, Peterson, and Swanson all go 2 for 4. So the hits were there, but they just were not timely enough, and the pitching did not step up when they needed it most. So the Braves fall. Dodgers have, a 2-1 deficit now after falling behind 2-0, and they'll get back out there tonight, 8:08 TBS, and you're going to have Game 4 of this series. Julio Urias gets the start for the Dodgers, and as I last checked, the Braves have not announced a starter, so we'll see who they bring out there. But you look at this one, Michael, Dodgers, another home game. Do you think they have what it takes to even up this series at 2 apiece?
Obviously. And mark my words, when they do win this series, you're going to hear news. Kershaw's coming back.
Kershaw's coming back, and is Charles Barkley getting a partial ownership stake?
No.
So I'm looking forward to that one. I mean, and I look at this game. I mean, I'm not saying blowout tonight, but I do think Urias, keeps him in check. And I think the Dodgers probably match the 6 runs that they, scored last night. But I do think Urias, call it 6 innings, 2 earned, 8 Ks, gets the win. And, the bullpen maybe lets up 1 other run. So you get a 6-3 victory for the Dodgers. Jansen in the 9th inning for the save. And the Dodgers come back to tie this series up at 2. One more home game at Chavez Ravine tomorrow, and then it's on to Atlanta. So this series, like I said earlier, probably going the distance. So we'll see as it resumes tonight, 8:08 on TBS. The other series currently going on, we have the ALCS, Astros 9, Red Sox 2 yesterday at Fenway Park. And this series is tied up at 2. And what a game this was, because you had the Red Sox leading this one 2-1 into the 8th inning. You had the Astros only get an inning in the 3rd out of former Cy Young Award winner Zach Greinke. You had Nick Pivetta, 5 innings of 1-run ball. Bogarts that home run in the 2nd inning. Red Sox are feeling pretty good, take that 3-1 lead. But Jose Altuve, one of the rare times that I was happy that he came through, gets that game-tying home run in the 8th. And then they have a 7-run 9th inning to make it 9-2, and they easily take this one. You had a Bregman homer. And I really expected going into this game, and I know it didn't look good until late. I did expect the Red Sox, to falter here just because the Astros, we know the talent on their team, and I know it's hard to play in Fenway Park, but the Astros were too good to fall behind 3-1 in this series. So they do even it up, setting up tonight. 5:08, we're actually already underway. Valdez versus Sale. And this, it's going to be the last game of the series at Fenway Park. Like I said, it is a tough environment to play in. Michael, I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What happens at Fenway Park tonight?
No, you don't.
Oh, and just to give you some context, bottom 1, no score, 2 outs.
The final score will be 2-1, Houston Astros.
Walk off?
The little guy.
Another one.
Another DJ Khaled.
Do they go buzzer? Do they go buzzer check after he hits it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, this will be a close game, after, a couple landslides the last couple nights. And I do think that the Houston Astros, at the end of the day, we know the Red Sox have been on a run. I'll be the first one to acknowledge that. But I think talent wins out, and I think Sale in the big moment falters, only goes 5, gives up 3 earns, bullpen doesn't perform, and we get an Astros 6 and a Red Sox 4, and the Astros head to Minute Maid Park, 1 game away from the World Series. And I tell all Boston sports fans out there to sit down. Oh man, but hey,
yeah.
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But like I said before, Michael, I'm always objective. I'm fair. Red Sox have had a great season.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to admit, but the Houston Astros are just a little bit better.
100%.
So we will obviously recap that tomorrow. And
It sucks the Yankees aren't there, man.
oh man, you are telling me, but like I've said yesterday, like I've said the last couple of days, I will always be an eternal optimist when it comes to the New York Yankees. So I think after seeing where the Boston Red Sox are, after seeing that tonight they should be playing at Yankee Stadium and not at Fenway Park, that will motivate the players, motivate the front office, motivate manager Aaron Boone for them to get back to the pinnacle of the sport, the Fall Classic. And I think this offseason you will see them make those right moves, as well as finally trust some of the prospects in the organization to get the job done and return to the Fall Classic. So obviously, as the moves come along, we will give them to you. And, as we have every day, we've been doing a little hockey recap, kind of around the league. And me and Michael were talking about it before the show. How about those Devils? 4-2.
Let's go, baby.
Over the Kraken yesterday. What was your reaction there?
I mean, it's expected. It's a new Devils team. They remind me of the 03 Devils, which, might I add, won the Stanley Cup. I don't think the Rangers won it that year. I can't even remember the last time the Rangers won a Stanley Cup.
92?
Was it that long?
think
Jeez.
When I was born. So that's a while.
So yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, Hughes, D score.
Hughes did not score, but had an assist.
See, all right, more points, baby. Let's go. Creating. I love it. I'm excited. And can you tell the fans that you have now gone against Tony twice in his betting predictions, and what has happened?
I would say it's 2-0 because
going against his opinion, right?
Going against his opinion, and you look at last night, and he said his lock of the night, the Columbus Blue Jackets over the Detroit Red Wings. Final score: Red Wings 4, Blue Jackets 1. So Tony taking it on the chin as far as that prediction was concerned. And you look around the league, one game, and I was explaining to Michael, I was watching this till the end on ESPN Plus, and I was mentioning how all the games in the NHL, if they're not a national broadcast or a local broadcast, are available on ESPN Plus. So I think that's a good way to grow the following of the National Hockey League.
Oh yeah.
How about the Wild 6-5 over the Jets? And I was explaining the scenario to you before the show. Jets, had the 5-4 lead, scored on an open goal to make it 6-4, but it did not make it 6-4 because they reviewed it. Offsides penalty. And within the last minute or two, the Wild tie it up and then score in overtime. And I think it's just one of those cases where talent wins out. And I just think the Minnesota Wild are far and away better than the Winnipeg Jets.
Agreed on that, bud.
So that was an exciting game. We also had the Caps 6-3 over the Avalanche. So they've got off to a nice start. And I was surprised to see Dallas Stars beating the Pittsburgh Penguins 2-1 with the upset victory. So, we had a lot of action last night. NHL definitely off to a good start with their new TV partnerships.
Oh yeah.
I think both networks, whether it's ESPN, whether it's TNT, have done a good job with that. And we actually have a doubleheader tonight on TNT. We have the Boston Bruins at the Philadelphia Flyers. That's at 7:30. And then at 10 o'clock, we get the St. Louis Blues traveling to Las Vegas, taking on the Golden Knights. So we'll start Bruins at Flyers. You have those veterans still on the Bruins. After all these years, Marchand, he kind of, that's the first guy you think of. You have the Flyers, you have Farabee. I mean, what do you see happening here, Michael?
Flyers 3-1.
3-1. And I'm going to say, I just, from the short amount of time this year I've been watching these games, I just feel like there's something to be said. If you have two teams, and I think you would agree here, Bruins, Flyers, there's not really that much of a gap between the two teams, but there's something to be said about having home ice.
Always. Home ice is tough.
Yeah.
Especially in hockey.
Exactly. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say Flyers 3, Bruins 2, final overtime, and Farabee with the game winner. Second game of the doubleheader, like I said, Blues at Golden Knights. The Blues have won their first two games. Knights have split them at 1 apiece. What do you see happening here?
I like the Golden Knights. I'm going to go Golden Knights 2-1.
I like the talent that the Blues have. I do like, what the Knights have done, since coming into the league as an expansion franchise. But I think this is the rare case. I mentioned home ice, but I just think that talent gap is what puts the Blues over the top. Call it Blues 4, call it Golden Knights 2. And I think another good game on this doubleheader. You think Gretzky comes out with anything crazy with the hair after the backlash or no?
No, probably does the same thing.
Okay.
He seems like he's a guy that doesn't care about that stuff.
No, because he's like, I'm the GOAT. No one could touch me. What else could you even say?
Right.
And so that kind of wraps it up. But one thing that I forgot to mention because I was distracted by the surprise guest appearance of my godson Patrick, the Ben Simmons situation. What the heck is that?
Have you seen the meme of Ben Simmons' face over Timo Cruz from Coach Carter? and Doc Rivers is Samuel L. Jackson, and when he throws him out of practice in the movie. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
It's so funny. I don't know what happened. What happened
With Simmons?
Yeah, what would they say
So
he do?
basically, he was in practice. Rivers asked him to participate in a defensive drill, and he declined twice, and then he was tossed and just really wasn't following instruction in practice. And I just think it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And they were talking about this on ESPN Radio, Alan Hahn, Bart Scott in the midday today. And they were saying the Sixers want him to suffer. So they suspend him for this game. And he thinks that until he's moved, they're going to have him active, but not entering the games and make him suffer on the sidelines. Your thoughts?
I love it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Don't you love that?
Absolutely. I just think it's like, you know what? If you were really all about basketball and all about, succeeding in your career, you wouldn't come off your worst season as a pro, demand a trade, and then on top of it, just be a complete loser in the locker room and just make life difficult for all your teammates. You saw what Embiid said. He said, I don't have time to babysit people. And I think he's right. I think this is absolutely unacceptable. And it's going to be interesting to see how this situation plays out and what team even wants Ben Simmons. Let's put the contract aside. Let's put the disappointing season
what you
aside.
could do? Trade, give money, and trade straight up. Send him to the Kings. Let him rot there, right? Send him to the Kings straight up for De'Aaron.
Sixers finals.
Right?
Instantly.
I
would love to see Fox in a good situation.
I love him.
Talented player, for sure. So that's just a situation, to keep an eye out for. And, I'm just pumped that NBA's back. And I think, there's going to be a lot of interesting storylines over the next couple of weeks. And it'll be interesting to see, who's going to be the next big thing. There's always a surprise team. Like we saw with the Suns last year, of course, we expected Paul to make an impact. We didn't expect him to carry them to the NBA Finals. So I'm sure there's a team right now that we don't have our eye out for that's going to end up making a run. And we have a comment from Jennifer Barnaby, also my sister, saying you have fans watching from North Carolina. And obviously when she says fans, she's referring to Chokery as well, one of our loyal listeners on the show. So we appreciate you guys tuning in, of course, and can't wait to visit you next month. So
where in North Carolina?
They live in Raleigh, Cary, but Raleigh is like the big city. That's the airport we fly into.
Nice.
So nice to see them get into the mix for sure. And
thank you so much.
Yeah. Love the support today. Love the fan interaction.
I mean, when it's just us two, what do you expect?
Michael is not. I can't believe I just said that. I meant Tony is not even going to be able to comment on the difference with the overnight.
Oh,
ratings.
no. There's no, I've already seen more people in this than I feel like with you guys already.
But he gets so tight. Like you can't even joke around with him for a second.
You know what's funny? I was, today I was driving with him and I was imitating you when you look at him and I was like, I go, Tony, you're kind of tight, huh? And I go about the Mets manager. What's his name again?
Rojas?
No, the other dude from back in the day, from like 20.
Oh, Willie Randolph.
Willie.
Yeah.
You're kind of tight about Willie, right? Oh my gosh. And he actually is kind of tight about Willie.
Oh, he's tight about Willie. And I just love when it's like the show's almost over. We've talked Yankees for 40 straight minutes. And then he just says, yeah, because it's all about the Yankees. There's nothing funnier than seeing a defeated Tony saying that. But we have a good time, of course. And one other comment on the way out here. Fresh Show says, thanks, Brian and Mike. Great show. So, of course, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Fresh Show, for tuning in. We love giving you guys what you need. Also, if you don't know, we're on YouTube as well, Fresh. If you haven't, go subscribe. Totally appreciate it.
And other than that, Michael, I think that's going to do it.
Yeah, dude. Good job.
Another great show. The 1-2 punch continues. And to all of our fans out there, keep commenting, liking, subscribing. As Tony would say, you are a bloodline. Everyone enjoy their night, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.